Andy, you're an experienced negotiator, trade union leader. Would it be easier, as John was just suggesting, if it was just about cost of living, if it was just a good old-fashioned pay claim, we need more to meet our bills, but because it involves terms and conditions and job security, it gets intractable?
Well, I think that's a very good description of the dispute the CW's got with Royal Mail. We're often asked, is this about pay? And it's much, much more than pay. It did start off about pay in the summer. And to be clear, I know your caption says a winter of discontent, but for the Communication Workers Union, our members have now taken 13 days of action since the end of August. So this is much more than, I don't like that expression, winter of discontent. But the reality is our members are in this for the long haul because it is such a complex dispute. And indeed, in terms of ACAS, I've spent a couple of days at ACAS earlier this week with the Chief Conciliator, and as John describes, their role is very, very helpful. They do try and facilitate a way forward, but they can't impose their will. They have to remain impartial and independent, and we welcome their involvement where we can involve them.
Yeah. The newspapers, and I've mentioned the Times several times, I haven't got shares in them, or I'm not beholding to the editor or anybody else like that, but they've done some serious work on a lot of these disputes. And one of the points they make this morning is that the private sector is having a field day at your expense at the moment because Parcel Force has been given an absolute thumping by all of the private delivery firms, and people are now setting up saying, we will deliver letters. If you want to make sure that you get your Christmas cards delivered, we will do it for you. You could be swept away by private market forces.
Well, look, we understand that the dispute can be damaging. Our members have got their eyes wide open. They voted twice by nearly 98%, on nearly an 80% turnout on each occasion to vote for strike action. Yesterday we had nearly 20,000 people that were on strike in Parliament Square. That was the police official figures. Our members are extremely angry about the way they're being treated by the company. We are trying to find a way through this, but unfortunately we came to a pause in the negotiations on Thursday. No other talks are planned. But we do need to put this into context, Alistair. The company, Royal Mail, made £758 million profit last year. They declared that in May, and they paid out in this calendar year alone £567 million to shareholders. So, look, this is a very successful company, and our members have delivered magnificently for years and years, not least of all during the COVID times when they were hailed as key workers and connected this country 6 days a week by delivering to 32 million addresses. It is a difficult dispute, but we're willing to get into negotiations tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. We want to find a way through this, but it does require compromise on the behalf of Royal Mail.
The arguments about profits being made have been used by Mick at the RMT and Aslef and others. Exactly the same articulation as you. You know, they're making lots of money. They've got it in the bunker. They need to share it a little bit. Is there an element of coordination in this wave of industrial action? Because I did a promotional thing for GBNews the other day saying it looks to me, as a former industrial correspondent, as a little bit of a mini general strike. I know it's not fully there and it's not TUC, but it has that air about it. Is it coordinated?
No, it's not coordinated, but it's converging. So many sectors are facing an onslaught of attacks on pay, terms and conditions, and it's only right and just that working class people can stand up for themselves, and they're doing that democratically, they're doing it legally, they're delivering through the ballot box. We now have high thresholds to pass in ballots we didn't used to have. We have to give 2 weeks notice of strike action. Everything is a postal ballot. So look, the reality is all the mechanisms are in place for negotiations to take place. And for a breakthrough to happen, it does take two to tango, and the CW is prepared to compromise. We've made our position clear on matters where we're willing to work with the company, but there are issues that are completely unacceptable, and that one of them is compulsory redundancies. We cannot tolerate, in an iconic industry such as Royal Mail, CW members